Welcome back. Stand up here on my little magnetite. Still gotta get that finished up, but right now I'm working on getting more power done. I've been fighting trying to keep this MFE full and start filling my MFSU, which I finally started to get a little bit coming in there. I burned up all the creosote I had, and kind of having a problem right now where I got that tantalum in my crucible, and I really don't want to make another setup. I want to use this one setup I have, so it's either pull all this out and throw in what I need to do, or wait until I can do that, and that stuff has to get to such a high temperature that it's taken forever to get it done. If I turn it on, especially while my thermal centrifuge is running over here, which I'm going to go in and turn the master volume down real quick, if I can hit the right stupid button. That way you guys can hear me over the macerator. I'm starting to get some biochaff done here. I went and got a whole bunch of potatoes, carrots, and cactus, and threw it all in there. Holy crap, does this mean that I'm actually finally done with redstone? Holy hell. I have been going through redstone forever. Cannot believe I finally got it all out of there. It means I can stop running this macerator all the time. I've been running this macerator trying to get this redstone done, because this stuff, I can just throw this in a crucible and actually get 11 nuggets per thing that I throw in. So it's better off. The redstone has to have an extra process to it. But if I try turning my crucible on in there with that thermal centrifuge running, even if it's not got the that thing, the overclocker in it, it's still, that thing just sucks so much power. And by the way, somebody had said this to me, and I had never even thought about it. I thought because it said that it automatically outputted to the closest chest or closest inventory or whatever it was, first available side, I just thought that was a tooltip, not something you could change. Like with Gregtech, you use a screwdriver to change things like that. But what I did was I basically grabbed it and I went like that on the side, I think. No, that's what I did. Shift and right click on it, and if you see it in my hand, the arrow changed to all of them, and then it changed to this side. And if you come to this side and you smack it, it'll go to that side. So that's how you set them to drop it where you want it rather than just wherever is available. So now I don't have to worry about it going into my hopper anymore like it was before. So thanks to whoever that was. Sorry, I can't remember right this minute who it was. I'm thinking it might have been Dante, but I'm not sure. But what I was, main reason what I'm going to try to record this episode is I have 640 millibuckets of IC2 biomass still in my fermenter. And I took out my solid heat generator and I put in a fluid heat generator. And in my bag here, I have a full cell of biogas, and I want to see if I can make more than a full cell worth of biogas from this one, which would mean that I could basically make biogas make its own biogas along with feeding it out to my power system. I could basically run the fermenter right off of itself and then still be able to feed some in here. So if we get more than 1,000 in that drum, then before this runs out, then it'll be successful. So I'm going to let that run and see how it turns out, because I've tried running an electric heat generator and then to run the fermenter and then run it back into a liquid thing like that, and it didn't. It actually took power. I was running water mills to run the electric, and it wasn't able to keep up with itself, even having the extra water mill power, because I was running it off of my regular system and had the water mills going directly into that part of the system. That was back in Gregtech 5 server, but it was still using IC2 wiring for that part. I was thinking there was something else I wanted to do. I'm not real sure what it was. XAR brought me some more creosote over. So I got 3 new drums of creosote from him. He also brought me a whole bunch of wood. I think he finally got his tree farm up and running and brought it over, or it was because of a minor issue that we had, kind of one of those conflicts of ideas type of things. There's an area over there that I got tin beside my magnetite, and my way of thinking was that it's within, like, say 1,000 blocks of my base, therefore it should be considered my area and somebody shouldn't take it. And to him, it hadn't been lit up and signed off or anything like that, mined out by somebody else, so it was free for the taking. And so I think this was kind of his way of kind of apologizing for doing something that I didn't agree with, and he didn't have to do it. Just like he brought me all these blocks of tin that he had got from processing over there, and I told him that he shouldn't have brought that he didn't have to. I didn't want it. He went to the trouble of mining it. He went to the trouble of processing it. So to me, it's his. I was just wanting him to kind of understand where I was coming from, that when I go mining, if y'all ever notice my tunnels down here, down there, all my tunnels lead that way or that way, and there's a few that go this way, but only after they go that way quite a ways. because everybody else on the server lives that way or that way. So I'm not going to mine in those directions because somebody's there. I'm going to go this way where there's nobody. So I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. I was actually talking with JJ, the guy that does my thumbnails for the channel, about this earlier. How I think it's weird when, and somewhat rude when, somebody will go over in Minecraft to somebody's place, walk in the door, open a chest. To me, that is completely rude. For one, if I'm going to your place in this game, I will tell you, hey, I'm on my way. Or when I get outside of your place, I will actually type in the chat, knock, knock, to let them know that I'm there. And when I go into their place, I will look around at what they have and stuff like that. But I'm not going to go into their chest, because to me, if they put it in here, that means it's their stuff. And I have no reason to need to know what they have. I don't want to snoop in their stuff and see if they're doing better than me or if I'm doing better than them. I don't want them to think that I'm trying to steal from them by digging in their stuff. And I don't want to put the challenge of, wow, this guy's got 16 blocks of diamonds and I've only got 1 diamond. I don't want to put that challenge on myself where I'm going to feel like I'm behind in the game from them. So I don't do that type of thing, and I prefer people not do it to me. But I never thought about the fact that people don't really think about that in the game. To me, it's kind of like how if you're on a server and you're playing in a big community type thing where everybody's really close, their houses are really close and they share everything, to me, then doing that type of thing would make more sense. But if you're on a server where everybody's spread out and you trade or sell or buy things, then to me you wouldn't do that type of thing, because they're evidently being more private. And I actually like playing a little bit different, to where you have a community but you still have your own private. I will share everything and anything I have with anybody. If somebody came and said, hey, I can't find any diamonds and I need to make a diamond pick for this or that, then I'll gladly give them the diamonds that I have, if I have them. Or XAR a few weeks ago or months ago had said he needed ender pearls for something. I actually went out, told him, do not sleep. And I went out every night and basically was working for him. I didn't charge him for them. I didn't expect anything in return for them. But in my own mind, I was working for him at that time because I had the time to do it. I had a looting sword to do it with. And I lived in the area where it is easy to find Endermen. So I went out every night and just hunted Endermen until I got how many he needed and gave them to him. Because that's, to me, the way a community should work. If I have the ability to do something and I have the resources to do something to help somebody else out, why would I not want to do that? But in return, I'm going to have the respect for them not to go rummaging in their crap, not to go over to their place without announcing it. And like I said before, everybody has their own way of playing. But I think people just need to think about the fact that everybody doesn't play the way they do a little bit more. And think about the way they see other people playing, and think about the type of ideas that that person may have because of the way that they play. And, I don't want XAR. I know he's probably going to watch this. He's been watching a lot of my videos, so I'm sure he will eventually get to this one. I don't want him to feel bad at all. I don't want him to think I'm mad at him, or that I was mad at him for what he did, for mining that tin. I can go find more tin. It's not a problem. I know it's hard to find in Gregtech. It's a real pain in the ass. But to me, it was just nice knowing that I had it there if I ever needed it. I haven't mined any tin in this world that I can think of as far as a regular tin or cassiterite ore. Every tin I've gotten has come from either processing iron ore or from small ores I found in the desert or in the mountains, just laying in gravel, stone, or sand, or while caving, finding it in the upper layers of caves, or tunneling like I do. So it's not that I needed it. It was just nice knowing it was there if and when I did need it. So I don't mind that he took it. It's more of, I guess, an invasion of privacy to me than it is that I don't feel that he stole from me. It's just that, to me, this is my area. I moved out here to be away from everybody so I could leave things in the overworld. So I didn't have them clogging up chests in my base. So I didn't feel like I had to mine something as soon as I found it. And so when somebody comes into my area and takes something that I feel, is in my area, it kind of bugs me. And it looks like our experiment has worked out very well. We have not used barely any of the biomass that was in there. We've used up all of the biogas we had, and we ended up with 1,600. And we only put 1,000 in. So that means if we put this back up here, then we should end up with more coming out over here. So this looks like it's going to be a very good, vital way of processing our biomass without needing any outside fluid. I can just run a pipe from here right back around to here, and then have a drum for excess. I'm just going to have to find out exactly how these transfer nodes work. If they work kind of along the idea of they search closer paths rather than further. Where if I put this a little further out, I know Gregtech pipes work that way when we get them, that if I had a pipe running, say, here, here, and here to get to here, that would mean I would have 1, 2, 3. This one would also count, so that would be 4 pipes to get to my destination. Then I could put this like 5 or more blocks away, and it would always go to here before it would go to here. And then there was restrictive pipes that would actually make this think it was further away, so I could have it closer. Just kind of like what the thermal expansion ones do. I think the thermal expansion conduits work the same way. It looks for the quickest route it can find to a destination that will take it. And so if you want something to be like an overflow, you put it way away, or you put a restrictive pipe that makes it think it's further away. But this looks like this is going to be a good way to run our fermenter. So I think I'll get some pipes and hook this up that way and see how it works. And we'll start making us some biomass some biogas that way. I'll take you over and show you my fermenter setup in a minute. I should have some pipes in here. I've been moving things around a little bit. And see, like back to that whole discussion, I was explaining this to JJ earlier, that it's not about me wanting to be secretive or hiding what I have from people, because I show you guys in my videos all the time what's in my chest. I don't think there's a chest I have that I haven't opened on camera, and wouldn't have a problem with opening any of my chests on camera, because I don't really have anything that I want to hide from anybody. So it is in no way an idea of not wanting somebody to know what I have. It's more, I guess, a respect type thing, that if I wanted you to know what it was, I'd tell you, ask you, or show you. And if I don't, then I obviously didn't want you to, or didn't think it was any of your business. And you should ask. I hope this makes sense. I'm kind of rambling now, but that's what I do. That's why I hope you guys enjoy watching, because I just kind of ramble. Throw ideas out there and hope something sticks. I got to do something with my distilled water down there. XAR told me it was full. I've forgotten all about the fact that I even put it down there, actually. I put it over there when somebody was asking me about it in my comments, and never did anything else with it. I still need to get my reactor set up. I was hoping to show that to you guys this time, but I still can't decide where I want to put it. Basically, this is what I've been doing for my biomass. I've just been throwing it in here, making it in this drum right here, and then when I get a pretty good load of it in there, I'll bring it over and throw it in the fermenter. But that stuff lasts so freaking long and makes so much gas that I'm really going to take a while to run through all that, unless I make a big bunch of them, And if y'all haven't noticed, I'm not kind of that type of player where I will find something that works and just make an ass ton of that. I kind of like using a variety of different things. I've got wind turbines up there to make power. I've got Railcraft boilers over here to make steam, 2 different kinds. I got Gregtech boilers to make steam. I like having a variety and like having different ways to make my power rather than just look for the most efficient, best way of doing it and making an ass ton of that. I know a lot of people, they would have by now just had like the entire roof of this place full of solar panels and just done solar all the time, or would have 10 or 15 of these wind generators running on carbon or steel turbines all the time. And again, nothing wrong with people that do it that way. It's just not my way. So that's kind of not what you're going to see when you watch this. I'm probably not going to make a great big array of things that work in the most efficient way. I'm going to play around and test things and see what works, see what doesn't work, and probably use a little bit of everything. I'm more of a tester type person. I like to play around with everything. I really can't wait till those water mills get put in here, though. I'm really looking forward to playing with a in-world water mill that kind of works like the wind turbines up there, where you got to flow water over a water wheel or have a water wheel in the water that the water's moving and pushes it. Really looking forward to that. What I was thinking about with my reactor, getting back to it, was originally I was thinking that I would dig underneath here and put it under here. But then I remembered I do have my storage area, my original home out here underneath, that runs probably back to like here. And if something would ever happen and it ever went critical, I'd blow it up. And I really don't want to do that. And I got a lot of expensive things in here that I don't want to blow up. So what I'm thinking is I might just put it like back over here a little bit, kind of like right in this area right here, and just run the wires over, so if it blows up, it's not going to harm anything else around it, because I can always run this BFC cable over there and power it that way. But I haven't quite decided. But let's go ahead and go downstairs and get the reactor, and I'll kind of show you the two different ways that you can do it. I'm not going to be able to do both ways completely because I kind of screwed one of them up, but I can show the basics of it. So you basically have your regular reactor. Anybody that's played with Gregtech or IC2 before 1.7 will know how this reactor works. It's a regular old IC2 reactor. You have your regular reactor, and then for anybody that doesn't know, pop this out, pop that off. Now if I okay, this is your regular reactor. If you look in here, you have 3 columns and a regular 6 rows. All of these are blocked out. You cannot use them. Each one of those will get unlocked by a chamber added to the reactor. So you can put 6 chambers on the reactor. Now, if you look at this, it says nuclear reactor in EU mode, throttled output by 50%. That means that this will put out straight EU electricity. It will not put out steam. It will not put out, it doesn't need coolant of any kind. It just runs straight off of, or straight EU out. And there's our last chamber. Now, if we look in here, we will have a full open reactor ready to go. Now, the way you make your power is you put, let me change real quick here. You put fuel rods, whether they're uranium fuel rods or MOX fuel rods. These are the easiest, in my mind, to get, because you do not need this uranium-235. You just use plutonium and uranium to make these. Let me look these up real quick and show you. You have a MOX cell, which is made with uranium, and plutonium will make you a MOX nuclear fuel. And this is the Gregtech plutonium ingot. This is the Gregtech uranium ingot. This is the regular IC2 way of it looking. And you can use them together as long as they're all the same. You know, you can have IC2 plutonium with Gregtech uranium. You just can't have 4 Gregtech uranium and then 2 IC2, or 2 of these plutonium and 1 of these. And they will all make the same MOX fuel, and then you put that in a canning machine, which it can be the canning machine that we have over there. It doesn't have to be what this looks like, which is the old, oh, that's the depleted. That's not going to show me anything. It doesn't have to be this, which is the old canning machine. Now, this is the enriched uranium fuel cell, which is where you use the uranium-235 and the uranium-238. So the only difference in the recipe is you use plutonium or uranium-235 down the center. The big difference with these is that the enriched uranium fuel cells will run a lot longer than the MOX will. But the MOX, if you heat your reactor up, will put out more power. But they last a lot less in time. But the nice thing about the MOX is that you will always get back, if you look at depleted MOX fuel rod, it took 3 plutonium to make this. You will always get back 3 plutonium plus a little bit more, 1 tiny pile of plutonium. So for every 9 of these you make, you'll gain 1 plutonium ingot. So therefore, every 27 rods that you do, you can make a new rod on top of what you could make before. So the way I normally start out is I make 1 rod and I put that in and I run it, and then I make another one, I run it until I get enough plutonium to where I can make 2. And then I run 2 for a while. And that way I'm not making, big mass amounts of freaking EU all at one time. I'm kind of working my way up. And plutonium, let me look this up and show you here. Unless you find a plutonium vein, actually getting plutonium is kind of a difficult thing to do. Because it really only comes from plutonium, or these tiny piles of plutonium. And the way you get these tiny piles of plutonium is as a byproduct of centrifuging uranium, or sifting through pitch blende, hand washing pitch blende, or uraninite, or uranium ore. And so you only get tiny piles. You need 27 tiny piles to make one fuel cell. So unless you're going to go knock out a whole vein at one time, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of plutonium to start with. And it'll take you quite a while to dig out a whole vein of plutonium or uranium and then completely process it to get it. So my way of doing it is kind of, getting the power out of it little by little as you're collecting more. Again, that's just my way of doing it. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong, just means it's the way I choose to do it. Now, I, unlike just about everybody else on this damn server, have not found a plutonium vein. I don't know what it is, but seems like everybody else on the server that's anywhere decently into mining on this server has found a plutonium vein. It's pretty unrare compared to everything else. It's rare, but it seems like it's easier to find it than it is diamonds or iridium, because I think XAR is the only one that's even found iridium. I know at least 2 of us have found diamonds, but at least 2 or 3 of us have found plutonium. I haven't found any, but I'm not, out directly looking for plutonium either. I kind of enjoy the fact that I have to get it out of uranium. I don't want masses amount of power easily at my hands. I want to have to work for being able to get that much power. And if I had, a whole vein of plutonium just sitting there waiting, I could, power just about anything. But that's just the way I enjoy playing this game. Now, if we take this apart, which I don't really have to because I have enough to make 2 full reactors, because I actually usually run 2 full reactors. I don't usually run them anywhere near full capacity, but I usually have both of them going. But the other kind of reactor is the new style, which is the fluid reactor, which is this great big structure made out of these blocks, which I'll show you real quick, are kind of a pain in the butt, because you have to have a butt ton of lead. You only get 4 from 5 lead plates, and this is a 5x5 structure, if I'm remembering correctly. 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually, I wanted to go this way. And they take forever to break, even with a diamond drill. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you actually would make it 2, 3, 4, and 5 high. So you would have this entire box. It's hollow. It's only the outer sides of it that are going to be full. And then you actually put your reactor right in the center of this. So you will have to put, give me this, well, give me a block of dirt.